Hi everyone, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. So today I have part 2 of my May book haul, and the books I'm going to show you today are most of the hardcovers that I have bought so far in May. I have 6 books to share with you, 4 of which have a sort of crime thriller feel about them. So yeah, let's get into the books. So the first book that I'm going to show you is one that I'm currently reading. I started it this morning, and it is Mothering Sunday by Graham Swift. I am about 10 or 15 pages into this. It's been a bit racy so far, but I'm really enjoying it. The writing style is really good, and yeah, it feels like it'll be a quick read, an easy read. So yeah, I shall read you what it's about. It is March 30th, 1924. It is Mothering Sunday. How will Jane Fairchild, orphan and housemaid, occupy her time when she has no mother to visit? How, shaped by the events of this never-to-be-forgotten day, will her future unfold? Beginning with an intimate assignation and opening to embrace decades, Mothering Sunday has at its heart both the story of a life and the life that stories can magically contain. Constantly surprising, joyously sensual, and deeply moving, it is Graham Swift at his thrilling best. And yeah, I think I'm really going to enjoy this. I think this is going to do exactly what it says in the synopsis, and I'm looking forward to getting a bit further into it because it's very good so far. So the next one I have to show you is a book that I found on Depop, and I've seen it loads of places and I've heard really good things about it, and I couldn't not have it. It is Luster by Leilani. I mean, that cover is just gorgeous as well. It's just, I can't wait to get to this. The things I've heard about this, it sounds amazing. And it also came with a lovely free bookmark, which I'm very happy with as well. So I'll pop that down so I don't drop it. Let me read you the inside. Edie is just trying to survive. She's messing up in her dead end admin job in her all-white office. Is sleeping with all the wrong men and has failed at the only thing that meant anything to her: painting. No one seems to care that she doesn't really know what she's doing with her life, beyond looking for her next hookup. Then she starts dating Eric, a white middle-aged archivist with a suburban family, including a wife who has sort of agreed to an open marriage and an adopted black daughter who doesn't have a single person in her life who can show her how to do her hair. As if navigating the constantly shifting landscape of sexual and racial politics as a young black woman wasn't already hard enough, with nowhere else left to go, Edie finds herself falling head first into Eric's home and family life. Razor sharp, provocatively page-turning, and surprisingly tender. Luster by Leilani is a painfully funny debut novel about what it means to be young today. And I really can't wait to get to that because, like I say, I have heard such incredible things about it. The next one was from the same Depop shopping trip, and this is a signed copy of this book, and I'm so excited to get to this because it also sounds incredible. It is Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu, and this is set in Edinburgh, which is about 60-something miles away from where I am in Dundee right now, and it's one of my favourite cities in Scotland. I showed you the inside because this sounds amazing. When ghosts talk, she will listen. Ropa dropped out of school to become a ghost talker, and they sure do love to talk. Now she speaks to Edinburgh's dead, carrying messages to those they left behind. A girl's got to earn a living, and it seems harmless enough. Until that is, the dead whisper that someone's bewitching children, leaving them husks, empty of joy and strength. It's on Ropa's patch, so she feels honour bound to investigate. But what she learns will rock her world. Ropa will dice with death, not part of her life plan, as she calls on Zimbabwean magic and Scottish pragmatism to hunt down clues. And although underground Edinburgh hides a wealth of dark secrets, she also discovers an occult library, a magical mentor, and some unexpected allies. Yet, as shadows lengthen, will the hunter become the hunted? That just sounds so up my street. It's got spooky vibes. It's set in Scotland, and yeah. Oh, and of course, I said it was signed by the author. And this, I would feel so lucky to have found this on Depop, a signed edition. Yes. So the next one is one that I saw during watching a video on the booktuber Cameron Cheney's channel, Library Macabre. He was doing a shopping vlog, and this book was on one of the shelves that he sort of skimmed past. And I think he even brought it out and showed it to the camera. And I had to have a copy of it because it just looked incredible. 100 Dastardly Little Detective Stories, edited by Robert Weinberg, Stefan Jimiankowicz, and Martin H. Greenberg. And I mean, this just looks so much fun. This is quite old. I think this is from the early 90s. And yeah, 1993, and this is quite a difficult book to find. There are more books in the series, and they are devastatingly expensive. But yeah, I found this one, and I'm so happy because it just looked amazing. The short story has a venerable tradition that extends back to the very origins of detective fiction. The earliest story in 100 Dastardly Little Detective Stories, Abraham Lincoln's The Trailer Murder Mystery, appeared in 1843, and in the century and a half since, the detective story has attracted the interest of some of the most distinguished names in fiction, including Charles Dickens, Jack London, Bret Harte, and the master of the short story, O. Henry. All these writers are represented in 100 Dastardly Little Detective Stories. The scope of this volume is as wide as some of these stories are short. Here we find many different styles of detective fiction, including the hard-boiled tradition of Theodore Tinsley's The Hand of Pinocchio and B.B. Fowler's Safety Deposit, the crime suspense tradition of Tom Curry's The Sign, and John McKernan's A Tulip in the Snow, and the modern noir thriller elements of Bill Pronzini's Souls Burning, and Wayne D. Dundee's Harsh Light of Day. The locales represented are equally diverse. We are taken to Jamaica in Hugh B. Cave's Naked in Darkness, the waterfront in H. H. Matteson's Hip and Thigh, and the urban jungle in C. J. Henderson's Bread Ahead. And the crimes include a prison breakout in Joseph Fooling Fishman's Old Calamity's Stick-Up, grand larceny in Marcia Fuller, and Bill Pronzini's Cash and Carry, and of course several cases of homicide. 100 Dastardly Little Detective Stories is your chance to match wits with great detectives, devious criminals, and some of the finest minds in all detective fiction. The solutions will not come easily, just quickly. I must apologise for the lawnmower sounds in the background. It's a very sunny day here in Dundee, and the world and his wife have decided that today is the day to cut the grass, to cut down trees, to do DIY, and I really wanted to film in the summer house, so yeah, there we go. But on to the next book. So this is a crime book, and I'm so happy to have this in my collection. It is the Crimes, Detection and Death of Jack the Ripper by Martin Fido. I am a fan of true crime, and one of my favourite true crime cases is that of Jack the Ripper. Just because he's never been caught. It's a completely unsolved mystery. There are theories as to who he was, but no one knows for certain, and that's kind of, terrifying. I still have the price in here. So I got this online. This is from, I think, 1989, and it's a bit bashed up, but it's in okay condition, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. Who was Jack the Ripper? Secret killer of 5 Whitechapel prostitutes in 1888. News source material suggests an entirely new identification of England's most notorious murderer and a possible 6th victim. This book re-examines all the sensational details of the murders ascribed to Jack the Ripper. It investigates the roles and reliability of the various policemen involved in the massive murder inquiry. It analyses the evidence against all the suspects, checking them against the personality patterns evinced by other serial murderers, and discounts the many fanciful identifications of the fiend. From an exhaustive search of original documents, coupled with his intimate knowledge of the Whitechapel streets and their layout in 1888, Martin Fido has provided a convincing identification of Jack the Ripper. And I think that there are some maps of murder sites in here as well. Yeah, so things like that, which are always quite interesting to see. So the last book in this haul is one that my husband bought me, and I'm so happy to have this. I'm so happy. I have it in paperback, but I've always wanted this edition in hardcover, and it's Agatha Christie, an autobiography. I just love it. It's bashed up, it's been sun damaged on the spine, but it's amazing, and I'm so happy. I absolutely cannot wait to get to this. I've always put it off because it's like a mass market paperback that I've got, and it's quite a chunky one, and I don't like breaking the spines on books like that, but I think it would have happened. But whereas this is hardcover, and you can't break a spine on a hardcover, so there we go. I shall read you the inside. It's quite a lot. It continues on both back flaps. Agatha Christie, an autobiography. At the age of 60, this extraordinary author of the most popular mystery novels ever published began writing of her life and career, which ended with her death at 85 in January 1976. She was christened Agatha Mary Clarissa Miller. Her story starts with her childhood in Ashfield, the Miller family residence in Torquay on the southern coast of England. Hers was a delightful upbringing in the late Victorian period, when customs, manners, and the family group were so very important in that upper-class society. Here is a nostalgic description of a time much removed from her later life. Dame Agatha goes on to tell of her early writing attempts, her marriage to Archibald Christie, the birth of her only child Rosalind, her work as a Red Cross volunteer during World War I, her modest success with the publication in 1921 of her first mystery, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, her unhappy separation and divorce from Christie. There follow vivid descriptions of her travels abroad with her novels, while her novels were growing in popularity, of her meeting at an archaeological excavation site in the Middle East with Max Mallowan, who was to become one of Britain's foremost archaeologists, and their subsequent marriage in 1930. Dame Agatha writes in a charming manner of her work with her husband at various digs abroad, of the many well-known people they came to know, and of the purchase of their estate, Greenway, on the River Dart in Devon. World War II drastically changed her way of life with Max Mallowan and her family. While her husband was overseas, Agatha Christie became involved in volunteer work, but continued to write. She describes producing, during those trying times, the two novels Curtain and Sleeping Murder, which were not intended for publication until she was gone. The 1950s and 1960s were the years of repeated successes with her books, plays, and movies. Her reaction to being recognised as one of the most widely read authors of all time makes interesting reading. There is, of course, far more here than just her life story. Dame Agatha reveals how she devised her many characters, such as Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. She tells of her writing habits designed not to interfere with her family life, and how she came upon her varied plots. In describing all this, she gives some good, solid advice to would-be writers. For a world-renowned person who shunned publicity, who was quite against any intrusion into her public life by inquiring reporters, which resulted in inaccurate, often sensational articles, this is a most revealing autobiography. She describes so well her many problems as a young woman, a wife and a mother, and is quite candid in her opinion of people, including friends and relatives. All in all, it is a warm, readable, interesting book that will intrigue her millions of readers and delight the critics of fine autobiographies. I'm so excited, both to get to this and to have it in my collection. I have hankered after this specific edition for many years, and then my husband treated me to it, so I feel very blessed. That was the end of part 2 of my May book haul. Again, I apologise for the gardening noises throughout, and possibly not very well lit video with the sun behind me. I may be a bit dark in the face, but I might be able to fix that in editing. Here's hoping. I hope you can see. I hope I don't have to refilm, because that would be most annoying, because today is meant to be the only sunny day for the next week here in Dundee. So yeah, but I'm blathering on, so I shall let you go. Thank you so much for watching. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye.